What up, everybody? It is Josh Thomas here with Fanshare Sports, and we are back for another Fanshare First Look course preview. This week, we are at the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut at TPC River Highlands. Another just stacked field. We are moving up the coast, getting back onto some bent grass greens at a really classic design that's hosted events since back in the I believe the 60s. This used to be the Greater Hartford Open, and then it was the Sammy Davis Jr. Hartford Open. Sammy Davis Jr. was the host here. And then it was the Cannon Greater Hartford Open. And now for the last couple of years, it's been the Travelers Championship. This is a really fun event. We've had guys like Jordan Spieth win here. Bubba Watson's won a few times. And it's we see, Ches Review was a winner last year. We see these different types of players coming here and winning. And we've actually, unlike the last couple of weeks where the studs haven't played here very much, now we get a week where a lot of the studs have, played here. We had 5 of the top 10 in the world last year, and then 10 of the top 20 in the world playing this event. So we do have some recent course history to go off of. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be a fun week. So we'll give you a quick breakdown here and talk a little bit about the course and kind of where we see things going for this event. So again, exciting times at Fanshare. We got that course suitability metric. We've got some new tools in the research station or our research area for Fanshare Pro members. Again, free till June 30th. That lets you look at kind of strength of field. You can sort by, how players have done on certain, stimps. So if we know that we're going to have like a really fast week of putting, you can see like, okay, how have guys performed on 13 on the stimp, right? So see who looks good there. Again, the best ownership projections, I believe, in the game. And it's, just second to none when it comes to what we do here at Fanshare Sports, and that showdown model that Lunas has got going on every week. It seems like last weekend it was almost instantaneous. As soon as the round was done, he had all that information up for you, and it's really easy to see kind of where, who the good plays are for the next day. So you combine that with Lee's under the radar value plays, and then just the general Discord in general, or the general Discord conversations that are being had in there. It's a really a great community, and they make it easy to win. I saw Aaron Favre last week crushing showdown in round 3, and we've had guys. Lee hit Webb Simpson on his outright bets this week. Lunas had a great week, I believe, in the mini max. So it's again, there's something special going on here at Fanshare Sports. I really do believe that that improved lineup generator. I think we might see a chance this week where we have like a big time wave advantage. It's possible that the wins on Thursday afternoon might play a role in who is going to, kind of get that advantage. And with the lineup generator that we have at Fanshare, it's so easy to just go in and say, okay, I only want AM stacks or just mostly AM stacks. And it makes it really easy to build those lineups. And then I think maybe my favorite part of the lineup generator is that you can build, 150 lineups. You go in and you're scrolling through them, and I say, ooh, what? Like, I have no interest in, I don't know, like Robbie Shelton this week, right? Or I have no interest in somebody not very good, Vijay Singh, right? All you do is click on it, and now it gives you the other options within that price range, and you can just instantly change that right as you're building. Download the CSV, load it up to DK, you're good to go. It's really impressive, and it's so fast. Some generators you're waiting, 5 minutes to build 150 lineups, right? Like this is literally click, boom, done. Tells you how accurate you are based on what you want. And it's again another great tool, free to you until June 30th, right? So you'll get this week, and then what's the date today? The 22nd. So we're looking at you'll get some stuff up into the beginning of next week for the next tournament. So again, worth every penny. Sign up, get access, and then on top of that, best ownership projections in the game. So Travelers Championship, we're in Cromwell, Connecticut at TPC River Highlands. It is a par 70. It is one of the shortest courses that they play on tour at 68.41. But it's a Bob Ross original Pete Dye redesigned this in 1982, and then Bobby Weed and Roger Maltby went back in 1989 and did a little bit more routing. Course record's 58, right? So a par 70, we're 12 under. Jimmy Furyk shot that in the last round and didn't win, which is crazy to think about. Before it was a 58, it was a 60. Patrick Cantlay shot that in 2011. He seems like a young guy, right? When just in my head, when I'm thinking about Patrick Cantlay, he seems like a young player. But thinking back that he said that in 2011, like that's when he was right when he was coming out. So it's really interesting to think that he's been out on tour this long. He had that back injury that really shut him down for almost 2 years. So I guess in a sense, he is still a pretty young player. We're back on bent grass and POA here. Last week we were on Bermuda. There was POA overseed typically when we played the Heritage in the spring. This event is actually right in its actual date. So this is when the event was going to be played no matter what. So it's interesting. We will get that bent grass, but we're going to see that POA, and that's maybe another reason to look at a possible, right? It's still early in the week here. It's Monday. It's looking at a possible AM wave stack for Thursday. We all know that if the weather's nice, if there's sun, that POA is going to get very bumpy in the afternoon. And what we see is that, putts that are online bounce out. And, that's something I think you really do need to take advantage of and look at. So we're going to need to watch the weather as the week goes on. We'll be in the Discord talking about it. But at 6841, right? It's not a very long course. It's very similar to Colonial, but it's, there's going to be more wedges than what we saw at Colonial or RBC. It's crazy that we're at, 3 weeks in a row here of very similar courses where really there's multiple ways to get it done here. You look at some of the former winners, right? Like Bubba's one of the longest guys on tour. And he is, crushing here 3 wins over his career, right? Which is insane. But Ches Reavie, very short. Jordan Spieth, very short. Russell Knox, very short. But then still making lots of birdies. That 2017 Jordan Spieth minus 12 really stings. If you remember, that is where he holed it out of the bunker, beat Danny Berger. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was winning GPPs with Berger. I was all over him that week. Spieth chips in, I lose. It was a couple of $1,000 swing for me. And actually the reason I remember it is because I was building a fence in my backyard and I thought, fuck, I'm going to pay for this fence, right? One day. I paid for part of it, not the whole thing though. But the interesting thing here is that it's 6841, but if you look at the course, they do a really, and obviously it's a Pete Dye design. He really redid it entirely in 1982, but they do a really nice job of creating different landing areas and really routing the course. You'll see this week that there's, watch the fairways and there's lots of S curves, right? It's not necessarily like a full dog leg, but they're going to force you to go left and then right, and then maybe back left again. And those sort of skinny fairways and landing areas make it not only difficult on your eye line, but just give you kind of weird shots into these greens. And then they do a really nice job of bottlenecking up at the green and protecting with not only rough, but with the sand traps. And then, in the fairways, those bottlenecks can create a situation where you're going to have to hit an iron. You're not going to be able to hit a driver here. So, it's what you'll see in a second here is you're going to see a lot of wedges. But again, we're not going to see, I'm not sure. Bryson's had some success here, but I'm not sure we're going to see that Bryson off the tee game that we did last week or the week before. But hey, we've been wrong about this guy every single week, it seems like. So if he kind of lays back a little bit, I think he'll be in good shape here because his wedge game is actually so good. It seems like hitting greens in regulation is really kind of the key to being successful here. So looking at the past 2 weeks of guys who really hit a ton of greens in regulation, they're likely going to have success here. So if you watched golf yesterday, a guy that hit all 18 greens yesterday was Abraham Answer, right? Well, Abraham Answer's also shot 63 here before. So we know that, that's sort of the mold of player that we want to target. And then again, we want to see guys who, there's 8 par 4s between 400 and 450 yards, like hello, Sebastian Munoz. Those sort of guys that really crush those medium length par 4s are going to be in good shape. I think we're going to really see, and we've seen it here before too, that 15 to 17 closing stretch is really wrapped around a 4-acre lake. And if the wind is up at all, you're in trouble. Like, there's going to be some big numbers. Somebody's going to fall out of the lead. And we've, again, like I said, we've seen that. Bubba won here in 2018 with minus 17. He was 6 strokes back of Paul Casey in round 4, right? Casey shot 2 over par. Bubba came all the way back and won. Reavie didn't necessarily come behind, but he had to make a ton of birdies coming in, and Zach Sucker and who else was last year? They fell back, right? And Reavie kind of took her down. Jordan Spieth come back in 2017. So nothing is safe here, and I think that's interesting in the sense that, obviously, we're going to see some numbers out today for betting lines, things like that. But there's a really good chance to find some value in bets going into tomorrow or into Sunday, like we did at the RBC Heritage. I was on Sergio Garcia for a top 5. And he, plus 350 for a top 5, which was, I felt like really good value at the time. Bryson DeChambeau had a similar odds for that top 5, and I hit both of those and really, really came out. So I think this is a chasers type course. Not only is that great for betting, but it's awesome for showdown. I love, where, we're going into a Sunday and everybody's going to be targeting those top guys at the top of the leaderboard. And while they're in play, right, finding guys that can come up from behind and really crawl in is how you win the big money on those round 4 showdowns. So again, I'm excited for this event. It's a lot of fun. We look at last year's scoring. It actually, played just a bit under par, not much, right? So we see these big scores, but the reality is that it doesn't play super far under par. You want us when you look at some of the old leaderboards, what you kind of see is guys really pop, and then they fall back, and then they pop, and then they fall back. If you can find that consistent guy who's going to shoot 67, 66 every single day, you're going to have a chance to win. You don't necessarily need to go super low, but you do need to avoid those 70, 71, 72 rounds. So as you're kind of watching your guys, and there's a lot of double bogeys out here. There's 93 on the back 9, 35 on the front 9 last year, 27 overall others, meaning that triple bogeys are worse, which is kind of crazy. There's the breakout of the holes, and that medium par 4 scoring is huge. Hold on, I'm gonna look at some. There's 2 par 5s here, and you really do need to get after those holes. They played as the 2 easiest holes on the course. Eagles are in play, definitely. The 15th, 296 drivable par 4, definitely in play as well for an eagle. So there's some risk or reward out here. It's about average for eagle. Bogey percentage, though, like I said, it's not super high, but the double bogey percentage is over average, 32nd in that ranking. So again, kind of like last week, is you make pars, you make pars, you make pars, and then you hope that you can make enough birdies. We do see those tight fairways here. We're going to see a lot of rough strokes. Players are not going to hit a ton of fairways. And then last week we saw the approach strokes between 175 and 200 being massively high. This week we're actually massively low on that range because of the length of the course. So we're going to see a lot more of those 125 to 175 strokes. And guys on tour here, that's that's a flip wedge essentially. So we're going to see lots of pitching wedges here, lots of 9 irons, lots of sand wedges. That approach strokes over 200 plus at 0%. That doesn't mean that there's no shots that length. It just means that it's about tour average. So some of my key takeaways, it's again a tough course that it's. You have to be in position. The trees won't come into play as much as they did last week. They're very grown up maples and things like that here, but they do sort of hammer your vision into a certain area, and that's what Pete Dye likes to do. So it's definitely an accuracy course. We have a strong field, but we do have some history here, which is nice. And then you got to score on those par 5s or on those par 4s, and then again make hay on those par 5s. I think that we're looking at, we've seen our cut lines go down the last 2 weeks from average. I think we'll probably see it similar to here. I think we'll see like a -1, -2. But what we have seen here over the years is that we've had, at least in the last 2 years, some big MDFs. So that tells me that, we might end up with, 80 guys that make the cut, and that's going to really increase your 6-6 percentage this week, and you need to take that into account when you're building your lineup. So start of the event history here. Paul Casey has crushed here over the years, and now we get Casey back this week. Will he, do a decky like last week and come out with really rusty, or is he going to come out and really play well? Brooks, we don't get the Brooks discount anymore. He finally played well. Watson, obviously, very going to be very popular this week at his price tag. With 3 wins here. Patrick Cantlay, it should be, I like the price on him this week a lot. And it's, a guy that's coming out of, hasn't played here, hasn't played since the break. I think he's definitely interesting. I think I'm big on a Sungjae bounce back this week. Brian Harmons, a guy who I thought played pretty well last week and really kind of, shot -6 on Sunday, which is huge. And now coming to a course that he's played 5 times at and averaged around 80 points, which is really impressive. KH Lee, I have no interest in. Patrick Rogers had a fantastic round 1, shot 4 under, looked great last week on second week in a row of playing well. Guy that I was heavy on, and then came out on Friday afternoon and blew chunks and shot like 4 over and missed the cut. So it was a disappointing day for me with Patrick Rogers and my share there. And Keegan Bradley, another guy who's had a ton of success here, really made a charge last year and just couldn't quite finish it off. Like I said, we have the new sort of ways to use the research tab in Fanshare Pro. So what I did this week is I just looked at strong field par 70s and see hey, who plays well on these par 70s when the field is really good. We don't have a ton of, there's some guys with 10, 7, but then there's a couple of guys with just a couple of results. So Eric Van Rooyen has 1 appearance, played well. Rory McIlroy, Justin Thomas, kind of your standard guys. DJ, Xander Schauffele's played well. Jason Day, Hey, he's cheaper than Brian Harmon this week. But the name I really wanted to talk about was Kevin Tway. Kevin Tway has really shown up here over the years. He's going to be cheap. He might end up getting popular just because of, people see, obviously when we don't have a ton to go off, we're going to go off, course history and things like that. So Kevin Tway is really interesting. Hank Lebioda just got into this event. As an alternate, should be almost min price when DK. I'm not sure if DK's added him yet because he got added this morning, but has played well here on these strong field par 70s. So weather and wind, right? Like I said, this is kind of what I was talking about when we look at Thursday afternoon. It doesn't look huge, but gusts of 16, that's gusts of 20 later at night, that's enough to throw some, maybe make it a worth your while to look at AM PM stacks, because again, the PM on Friday does not look that bad. So as always, give us a follow on Twitter, DFS Up North, Fanshare Sports, DK Golf Bargains for Lee, Lunas at Lunas. Guy's a stud building these models. You can use that promo code Josh for 20% off any subscription, but hey, right now it is free, right? So get involved, come join us at Fanshare. I'm really looking forward to another big week, and hopefully we can, see somebody take down the Millie again. That's, within the community. That's always fun to see when just normal everyday Joe Schmoes like you and me take down a Millie. So good luck this week. Be on the lookout, right? Lee'll have his under the radar value plays up. Everything, all the odds and DK and FanDuel pricings are being uploaded into the lineup generator right now. And it's, I'll have my ownership article out on Wednesday. Lunas will have that showdown model up every day. It's going to be a great week for us. Looking forward to it, and have a great day, guys.